Now, the next topic we are going to deal with is fishbone diagram. Fishbone diagram is also called as Ishikawa diagram, and it is a useful tool that can be used to find where the data fits into your data world. This is also a type of cause-effect diagram that can help the managers to find out what are the reasons for the variations, defects, failures, or any imperfections or anything wrong that is happening. The diagram basically looks like a skeleton of the fish. So इसीलिए हम लोग उसको कहते हैं fishbone diagram. Okay. So how does this diagram look like and how do we go about this diagram? Okay. The very first thing we do is we list the causes of the problems feeding into the spine, and once all the causes are underlying, once all the causes related to that problem are listed out, okay, you start thinking about the solutions, ensuring that the problem doesn't become a recurring one. Okay, so let us first see how the diagram looks like. So you can see different cause categories coming over here. So here is your effect, and here are your different cause categories. Now for every category there may be some sub causes, and for every sub cause there may be sub causes also. So you can see how the numbering is given. Okay, and then once you are doing this, once you are drawing this diagram, you can finally jot down, or you can finally get down to your possible root cause. I hope this concept is very clear with you all. Just hold on a minute, students. Okay. So I hope you have understood the structure of the diagram, right? Now, the fishbone diagram, it aims to pinpoint everything that is wrong with the current market offering so that you can develop an innovation that doesn't have these problems. So maybe that you are trying to develop a product जो सबको satisfy कर सके. So सबके requirements क्या है ये आपको पता होना चाहिए. So you should be in a position to identify all the problems that you need to solve. So once you have laid out all the problems you need to solve, you will be in position to think about their solutions. Okay. So अगर trouble shooting करना है, then you can use this diagram. Okay. उसके बाद आता है Monte Carlo simulation. Monte Carlo simulation क्या करता है? It helps you to develop different models of possible results by substituting a range of values with a probability distribution. So जो भी पैरामीटर्स में अनसर्टेनिटी होता है उस पैरामीटर्स को अब एक प्रोबेबिलिटी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के साथ रिप्लेस कर दो. ओके, एंड देन यू रन दैट मॉडल अगेन एंड अगेन with different set of random numbers, and every time you are running the model with a different set of random numbers, you will get different answers. So once you have run the model for enough number of times, you will be able to analyze how your output data or output values look like. So Monte Carlo simulation will help you to enact the real life situations. अभी आप पूछोगे मैम सिमुलेट क्यों करना है, रियल लाइफ में एक्सपेरिमेंट ही कर लो. Right now, why simulate? The reason is simulation is much cheaper as compared to experimentation in real life, because in real life if you want to experiment you will need time and you will need money. Simulation reduces the amount of time that is necessary. Are you getting it? Yes. So अगर complex systems है, highly complicated formulas वगैरह है आपके पास, and you want to analyze how these systems will behave, you can easily go for simulations. अभी उसके बाद आता है casual loop diagrams. अभी casual loop diagrams क्या होता है? It helps you how the number of variables in your system are interacting with each other. Okay? कौन से variable का effect कौन से दूसरे variable पे कैसे हो रहा है? So now whatever variables we are having, they are represented as nodes. So you can see this is one variable, this is another variable, This is the third variable, correct? And if there is any link between the variables, whether it is a positive link or it is a negative link, it is represented as a arrow. It is represented as a arrow. So POS means positive, NEG means negative. POS means positive, NEG means negative. Okay? Now, the challenge is to keep the number of employees available to work and productivity as high as possible. Okay, so if you see this diagram, I want to keep the number of employees which are, working currently to a good amount of value, and I want to keep the productivity high as well. Okay, productivity agar अच्छा होगा, then the morale of the employees will also be high. Yes or no? And suppose there are many people who are going for training. So if the person is going for training, the number of people available for working will be less. So there's a negative relationship over here. Are you getting my point? Similarly, if there are many people who are falling sick, then again the people who are working for, who are reporting for work will be less. So again there's a negative relationship over here. I hope I'm very clear with what is kind of positive and negative relationship. Okay. Now the next one is Pareto chart. Pareto chart kya hai basically? It is a bar graph. Okay. You either call it as Pareto diagram, Pareto chart or Pareto analysis. Now the length of the bars will represent the frequency or the cost. It can be either time or it can be money as well. बट बार्स ऐसे अरेंज किया जाता है कि सबसे बड़ा जो बार होता है, सबसे जो लॉन्गेस्ट बार होता है, दैट इज ऑन द लेफ्ट मोस्ट साइड. ओके, एंड देन द शॉर्टेस्ट बार इज ऑन द राइट मोस्ट साइड. सो दिस इज हाउ यू अरेंज द बार्स. ओके, सो ऐसे क्यों करना है मुझे? ऐसे करने के बाद आपको एक आइडिया मिलेगा कि ओके, ऐसे कौन से सिचुएशंस है जो सबसे ज्यादा क्रिटिकल है मेरे लिए. सो अभी टाइप्स ऑफ कस्टमर कंप्लेंट्स. So majority of my customer complaints are related to documents, then product quality के बारे में complaints है, then packaging के बारे में complaints है, फिर delivery के बारे में complaints है, and then you have a miscellaneous set of complaints which I have grouped together in others. Am I clear on this? So Pareto chart use कैसे करोगे? सबसे पहले when you are analyzing the data about frequency of the problems or causes in the process, you will use a Pareto chart. अभी अब सारे प्रॉब्लम्स पे एक साथ ध्यान दोगे क्या? नहीं. अब ऐसे प्रॉब्लम्स पे ध्यान दोगे विच आर मोर इम्पोर्टेंट और विच आर मोर प्रेसिंग, कि दिस हैज टू बी सॉल्व्ड ऑन हाई प्रायोरिटी. सो इफ आई आस्क यू विच आर द टू प्रॉब्लम्स विच द कंपनी नीड्स टू एड्रेस ऑन हाई प्रायोरिटी, व्हाट विल बी योर आंसर? एनी गेसेस? नो गेसेस? Absolutely correct. Documents and product quality. Am I right? सबसे ज्यादा complaints ये दो sectors से related है ना. So when I ask you which are the most significant problems, the answer is documents and product quality. Okay. Now, when analyzing the broad causes by looking at their specific components and when communicating with others about your data. So these are typical cases when I can use a Pareto chart. Okay, many a times you have a concept of 80-20 analysis. Are you guys aware of that 80-20 analysis? Yeah. So say now. Okay, you don't know. So 80-20 analysis says that 80% of your problems can be solved if you tackle 20% of your issues. Okay. 20% ऑफ इश्यूज टैकल करने के बाद आपके 80% प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाते हैं. सो अभी आपको ये फिगर आउट करना होता है कि वो 20% क्या है जो आपको सबसे पहले टैकल करना है. दैट इज व्हेन योर परेटो चार्ट कैन हेल्प यू. सो इफ आई टैकल द इश्यूज विच आर रिलेटेड टू डॉक्यूमेंट्स एंड प्रोडक्ट क्वालिटी, मेजॉरिटी ऑफ माई कस्टमर कंप्लेंट्स आर हैंडल्ड. बाद में आपके पास जो टाइम बचा है उसमें से ये चीजों को एड्रेस करो. सो 80-20 एनालिसिस जब भी कर रहे हो तो ये फाइंड आउट करना इंपॉर्टेंट होता है कि 80% का बेनिफिट आपको कौन सा 20% हैंडल करने के बाद मिलने वाला है. So identifying that 20% is very important. So identifying those 20% issues which will solve 80% of your complaints is extremely important, and that is where the Pareto chart will help you out. Clear? Okay. Now the next one is correlation analysis. The correlation analysis typically tries to establish the correlations, or it tries to find out the correlation between the data values, or it tries to find out the relationships between your data values. Now, what are the types of relationships? There are 3 types of relationships. Okay, it's not there in the book, but I think that it is important for you to know it, so I am discussing it over here. The first type of relationship is a positive relationship. So let's say that I have 2 values. I have how many values? 2 values, x and y. If x grows, the y will also grow. If x is coming down, the y will also come down. So this is called as a positive relationship, generally shown as a line like this. Okay. अभी दूसरा होता है negative relationship. Negative relationship says that if x is going up, y will come down, and if x is coming down, the y will go up. Are you getting it? So ये जो रिलेशनशिप होता है ये उल्टा रिलेशनशिप होता है. And usually the correlation coefficient for a positive relationship will tend to +1, and for a negative relationship it will tend to -1. So the values, when they are near -1, you say that the relationship is more negative. And when the values are towards +1, जैसे 0.8, 0.9, 0.75 ऐसा जो values होता है, then you say that it is a positive relationship. Am I very clear on this? And the third type of relationship is there is no relationship. Okay? The values of x and y, they are fairly independent of each other. x का value y को affect नहीं करता है. You guys are with me? Let us take some real life examples. Positive relationship का example लेते हैं. Positive relationship का best example है you study more, you score more. पढ़ाई ज़्यादा करोगे स्कोर अच्छा मिलेगा, पढ़ाई कम करोगे स्कोर कम हो जाएगा. Right? Positive relationship. Negative relationship. You exercise more, you will face less health issues. Are you getting it? More exercises, less number of times you will fall sick. You are not exercising properly, you will have more health issues. So one is increasing, another one is decreasing. Another one is increasing, the first one has to decrease. Am I very clear on this? Now, the next concept we are going to look at is forecasting. What is forecasting? We are looking into the future. We are looking into the future. Now, how can we look into the future? We can look into the future by looking at our historical data. So, I will analyze my historical data and I'll try to answer the questions about the future. So, by analyzing the data about last 2 years sales, I'll predict what will be the sales of my next year. Okay. So what should we buy, what should we sell, where my next business will come from, which customer. Okay. How much raw material I have to buy so that I can fulfill the orders that are going to come in month of January. सो आपको सेल्स पता होना चाहिए ना जनवरी का, ताकि आप रॉ मटेरियल्स ला सको. हाउ विल यू फोरकास्ट द सेल्स ऑफ जनवरी? लास्ट 3 years का 5 years का डेटा देख लो, सी द हिस्टोरिक डेटा, perform certain investigations, see what is the trend of your sales value and figure out what is going on. Am I clear on this? Okay. Yeah. So next what we have is what are the typical steps that we follow in data science. Okay. So when I'm performing various experiments on data, what are the general steps that I'm going to follow? So the very first step is it begins with a question. So whenever you start analyzing something, आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि what is that you want to get the solution to. So if your question is not well defined, nothing else is going to fall in place. So the very first thing is start with a question. Then you design a model. Maybe you select a prototype for the data and start a visual simulation, or use some statistical and mathematical solutions to start a data science model. So you start either designing the model or you start developing a prototype. So you need to analyze that your model should be sufficient to provide answers to the questions that we have seen in step number 1. That is the most important thing. The next thing is that once I have decided the model, I start formulating the hypothesis based on the collected observations. What is a hypothesis now? Are you aware about that term? What is hypothesis? It is an educated guess. Okay, hypothesis is a guess, but it is an educated guess. Randomly कुछ guess नहीं किया है मैंने. Okay, now based upon the model that I have created, the observations that I have made, I have to prove whether the hypothesis is true or false. So how will I prove whether my hypothesis is true or false? I compare the results that I have achieved with the real world observations, and then I provide the results to the real life business. हमने पहले मॉडल पे चीजें वर्क की, करेक्ट? अभी वो आपको रियल लाइफ में इम्प्लीमेंट करना है. Now communicate the progress and the intermediate results with the customers and subject matter experts, and involve them in the whole process to ensure that they are part of the journey of discovery. See, you will communicate the results to customers and subject matter experts, but ye communication, even though they have given it as step number 5, if you read the statement carefully, I have to communicate with the customers and the subject matter experts in every of the above step. Continuously when you are working in your data science solution, you should have your connection with these people. Okay, because see, आपको problems कहाँ से आने वाले? Customers से. आप correct direction में जा रहे हो या नहीं, ये आपको कौन बताने वाला है? तो subject matter experts. Understood the concept? Any doubt?